What's up, everybody? Life's Apprentice. Today we're going to be doing some gutter guards. Look behind me. What a difference a day makes. Holy crap. It is March in Wisconsin, and yesterday was beautiful. All of our snow was gone. If you watch that video, you'll be able to see, but look at what we woke up to. Craziness. Alright, so as promised, I'm showing you the gutter guards that I like. I've never found a gutter guard that is 100% flawless. They all have their pros and cons. You look at this gutter guard here. This section right here is going to slip onto the front of the gutter, and this goes underneath the shingles. And then if you look here, that's essentially how it goes on the gutter. So you can see that, but this part here goes underneath the shingle, and then this part just clips on like that. But the first thing we need to do is on the end, I'm just mocking this up right now just to show you guys. I'll show you what I do here in a second. But if you look here, you can see that hole. So we have to make an end cap for the gutter guard to fill that hole up. What I found in the past is if you do not do that, birds will actually go inside the gutter and make a nest inside the gutter. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. I've seen it multiple times. So that gap on the edge of the gutter there is about an inch. So I'm going to come roughly 2 inches in, and I'm just going to square a line right across there like that. The next step is I'm going to take some snips. I'm going to cut this base off right here, and I'm going to cut up to this bowl nose right there. You can see where I stopped, and we're going to cut this part completely off. And I like to cut it on an angle just a little bit because the front of the gutter angles back, so this will prevent it from getting caught on your gutter. So that part is done. Now if you can see on the back of this gutter, there's a line right here. That is where the back of the gutter will be on a 5-inch gutter. So on our mark, we're strictly going to cut right up to that line. See that? We cut up to the line right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bend this down, and I'm going to overbend it. These are vinyl. They're not metal. They may look metal. So there's essentially your end cap, and now this part right here gets folded back on that bend like that. Okay, so we have our end cap right here. You saw that. And what we're going to do next is we're going to get this underneath the shingles like so. We're stuck on something. Oh, we're stuck on a nail right there. This can be difficult depending on the roof, but in general it's fairly easy. Obviously right now the shingles aren't very easy to work with. It's cold. My fingers are cold. And it's wet. And I'm catching on nails. You need to be really careful with the shingles when you're doing this, not to damage them. There we go. Alright, now we have it slipped under. We need to get this portion where it'll hook on to the gutter, and I'll show you that in 1 second here. So we have our piece underneath the gutter, and we have it on here, but this is not hooked on yet. And you can see what our end cap did over here, how it closed that off real nice, where nothing's going to get inside of there. So now what we do, and this is the best tool I've found to do this, it's just a small Wonder Bar pry bar. And what we're going to do, we're going to start on one end, and we're just going to stick this pry bar in these little ribs, and we're going to pull. You don't want to pry on this, because what it can do is it'll actually dent your gutter. So we're just pulling. We're not prying, we're pulling straight out. You can hear it snapping on. That's what you want. There you have it. That's essentially it. Some of these are going to be a little tricky. Some of them are going to be easier than others. But in order to install good gutter guards like this, you know, it is going to take a little bit of time. So we're good on that side. Now the last and final step is we have gutter screws, and they're basically just a zip screw that are painted white. You can see right here, painted white. It's a 1/4 inch runner. And these we're going to put, I put them about 6 inches from each end through the top of the gutter. And what this does is, when I first started installing these, I didn't screw them, and over time they end up moving. And by moving, they're moving when it's hot and cold, so their expansion and contraction is allowing them to move. And what happens is you'll end up with little gaps and cracks and stuff like that. So you definitely want to screw these, I'm telling you from experience. But here I'll show you the final product. You can see where I put this screw, and it's going right through here, so it's not going to cause any leaks to your gutter or anything like that, assuming you install these properly. And you can see how this gutter works. I wish the snow was melting a little faster. I'll show you a clip a little bit later when I get some water. But you see what's happening with this water is it comes down and it follows this bull nose down into these holes. And the nice thing about these solid covers like this is, if you get a large buildup of stuff, when it dries off, it'll blow off. And it will keep almost everything out of here. I've had pretty good luck. You can see this water? See it following it in there? I'll tell you some of the disadvantages of these gutters. Depending on what you have, these can get plugged up over time. They don't usually get plugged up right away, but they will get plugged up over time. Another disadvantage to these is, depending on how your gutter is and how these lay out, you can see how this is pretty flat. If your gutter is really low, these are going to have more of a pitch to them to meet the roof. And what will happen there is, when it's raining really hard, the water will actually shed off of these a little bit. That's another disadvantage. And also with steeper roofs, you're going to get water traveling a lot faster, and water is and can shed off of these. But other than that, these are the best gutter guards I've installed. But they still have their own issues. You can see the water. This isn't a lot of water, but you can see the water just following it right in there. See that? This is going to keep most of the stuff out. Another problem I've had with these is, for whatever reason, the little wasps will go in these holes and they'll build nests on the top of these. And sometimes the rain will knock those down and plug your downspout. But these, I put these on hundreds of houses, and I'm telling you, these scenarios based on hundreds of installs, not one or two. The majority of these that I put on, people are extremely happy with and have no problems. But I have had some problems with them. But in my opinion, I've tried other guards, and I cannot find one that is truly perfect. You'll notice, like, this particular gutter guard here is similar to what they would call like a gutter helmet or a leaf guard. but this is far cheaper than what they offer. So now I showed you the end cap there. You're going to want to do that on every end where it's going to be open. But in these straight runs like this, we're going to put these on. These are 4-foot pieces, and we're just going to butt them up to each other, screw them, and just keep working our way down until we get to that like little wall here where the fascia is. And there you don't need to make an end cap. You're just going to want to make sure that your edge is tight with the metal. 3 full pieces on here. And now I'm at the spot where it meets up with the wall. So I measured from here to the wall. It's 39 1/4. I have my piece cut. And we are going to slip this guy in right now. So these can be a little tricky depending on your situation, your roof. But they're not, they just take some finesse and a little bit of time. There's nails underneath here that you're going to hit. Like this one. And you just got to take your time and work around them. You got to be extra careful of the shingles. Right now they're not very brittle. You can see that took me a little bit of finesse to get that in there, and that's to be expected. So we have it slid up underneath the shingles, and now we're just going to go through and pull it on. Anyone can do this, not hard. And then we're just going to put some screws in it. There you can see how it butts up tight to the wall. There's a little tiny crack right there, but that's not going to mess with anything. Nothing's going to be able to get in there. Well, I'm having a hard time filming. It's raining. But I'm working these down. Here you can see what the end cap looks like. There's a little gap here, but that's not a big deal. You can see how nice this closes this off. You can just see down that run how that works. It's a really cool system. I started working over here. I got a couple of pieces on, and I'm going to work my way down there. But essentially, I mean, I basically showed you the gist of it. The only real complication or thing I'd recommend is these end caps are a must. They are a little bit tricky, but once you get it down, it's quite simple. And then these screws, the screws are necessary too. You got to do it. But then as far as that goes, these are 4-foot pieces. So you're just going to snap 4-foot pieces on down this entire run. On that end, I'll have an end cap. On this end, I don't have an end cap. I just got it to fit tight up to the fascia, and then I caulked it. And you don't even really have to caulk it. I just don't want water getting behind the gutter and dripping down in here. So I caulked it, but that's not necessary. And getting a little bit of water dripping down the fascias, it's going to happen, you know, in a heavy rain. We don't have any rain today. Well, I mean, we do now, but the main amount of water here is all this wet, stupid snow we got going on here. Now it's just kind of foggy and misting, if you can see in the distance. The field back there, probably like a 1/4 mile of visibility, and it's just a heavy mist. I also want to take some time and show you guys the manufacturer of these. It is made by Amerimax. These, I get them at Fleet Farm in my area. Fleet Farm is a kind of a Midwest, Wisconsin, Minnesota store. I don't know, I've never seen them at Menards. I'm sure you can order them online or through one of your suppliers, but if you're interested in these, this is the brand, and it kind of shows you how they work. Well, as you can see, we are done packing up with this job, and these gutter guards look really nice. See them? They're a little dirty. Everything's just muddy right now. They're all done in soffit and fascia. If you haven't seen the fascia and soffit and gutter part, check that out. I'll link it at the end of this video. The other thing we did today, kind of unrelated, but we wrapped the garage doors. Turned out really nice. That one. And we wrapped this one, which was really tricky. All these extra bends. You can see all the way down. Yeah, so if you like this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Right here at the end, I'll link the other videos in this little series. If you like it, watch them all.